Session, and we are going to start with Taking Positive Steps Service Award.
Yeah, so we have a couple to give. First is Blessings in the Backpack. Blessing in the Backpack is a nonprofit organization that feeds over almost 90,000 students in over almost 1,100 schools in 46 U.S. states and District of Columbia. The program is a hybrid of private sector funding and public partnership carried out in public schools. Blessing in the Backpack provides food on weekends for students in need. The School District of Lodi. Bags are distributed in a discreet and confidential manner. The Lodi chapter of Blessings of the Backpack is being honored by the Wisconsin Association of School District Administrators Bert Grover Child Advocate Award. The individual community-based award is created to acknowledge the exceptional individual or civic or other community-based organization support for our children. Local individuals, organizations who are honored are those that have demonstrated significant commitment to children by sharing their time, talents, or other financial support. This award is to acknowledge the importance of the individuals working to support the greater mission of educating all children in Lodi. So, I'll call Lyle Henderson and Jen Morgan. Yeah, right. So, first of all, you guys get a certificate from the Wisconsin Association of School District Administrators, suitable for framing. And a Taking Positive Steps for Service Award and a donation. Oh, wow. $100,000. Right? Oh, anything you guys want?
Well, thank you for letting us partnership with the School District of Lodi, because we had to ask if we could do this, and you said yes. It was 7 years ago. It really is a community-based project. Laura Herenstein and Chris, who buy all the groceries every week for 7 years. I mean, they're guru shoppers. And Lori's always trying to find something else to do on a night that she might get a little recognition. So if you see Lori Herenstein around town, please tell her thank you. But just lace grants we've had. Mike Clark at the Locker Market lets us have brat stands. I mean, it truly is a community-sponsored event. We have families that donate monthly to our cause. So the fortunate thing is we don't really have to get out and do a lot of fundraising, because we have groups at churches and other groups that just give us money every year, which is amazing. But that's Lodi, isn't it?
It is.
It's the Lodi community. They just support great things. So thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Henderson, you just can't get away from us, can
I
you?
know. Keep coming back like a bad penny.
So, if you're listening and you want to donate to Blessing of the Backpack on behalf of students, you may donate in two ways. You can donate, or donate by mail. Check should be mailed to Blessing of the Backpack, to Lodi Schools, in the memo line, and it can be dropped off or mailed to the Lodi Primary School, in care of Val Bilkey, who is our counselor up there at 1307 Sauk Street.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, I did it. Did you get one? I got a picture. Good. No, I
Do you
don't
want
need to get
Vince
it.
in it?
You want Vince in it?
Get Vince in
Go get in
there.
it now
Get
that
the
you're
board
up and
president
running
in.
around.
Or, yeah. Heather, come on in.
I was teasing Vince. Oh, there you go. And tease.
I don't know. What did we do with the brick wall? Concrete wall.
Our other two awards go to, the first one goes to Christy McMorris. This is her last board meeting. She has served on our school board for 3 years, so the plaque that she's going to get says, the School District of Lodi and its Board of Education acknowledge Christy McMorris with grateful appreciation for your dedicated service to students, staff, and community. 2021 and 2024. You get a certificate. Finally get paid with board members.
You guys got goals there too.
Yeah,
We can.
go in front of the.
Please don't publish that
Yeah.
one.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Christy, for your service. Anything you want to say?
I just want to say that to my community, thank you so much for electing me into this position. I look back 3 years ago, and boy, was I green coming into the school district. And I'm just so grateful for everything that I learned, everything I learned about myself, everything I learned about the district, and what we do here as a community. And it's something that I will take with me forever, and I hope that I can still add value to some capacity. I won't be able to this way anymore, but yeah, I just want to thank our community.
Well, thank you.
The community thanks you for your service. And then, next person is Angie Lathrop. Again, the plaque, School District of Lodi Board of Education acknowledge Angie Lathrop with grateful appreciation, dedicated service to students, staff, and community for your 6 years of service.
Hope mine's twice as big.
Yet you get paid the same.
Only one.
Yeah. Why are you guys standing over there?
John didn't take the picture.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to add, Angie?
Wow, this is a great community and great schools within the great community, and honestly, a really nice group of people to have spent. Well, I know it's not been exactly the same people for the last 6 years, but it's really great getting to know everybody and working together and working with the administrators and being part of the schools is, you know, once my kids got out of the schools, I was really grateful to have a chance to be continuing to stay connected with the schools. And I'll still be staying connected in some other ways too.
Good.
Thank you for your service as well.
All right, we are going to move to public input. The purpose of the public input agenda item is for citizens and staff of the School District of Lodi to provide comments on any agenda item or to publicly address the Board of Education on items that pertain to school business. The portion of the meeting during which the comment of the public is invited shall be limited to 10 people unless extended by a vote of the board prior to the beginning of public input portion of the meeting. The amount of time allotted to each speaker will generally not exceed 3 minutes. If the speaker has questions for the board, they will be duly noted and responses will be provided in an appropriate manner. But the board cannot respond to individual questions or individual comments as part of the public input agenda item. As an additional reminder, the board cannot take action on any item that is brought forth during the public input session or on any item that was not posted on the meeting agenda. If you are providing comments, we would merely ask that you please come to the microphone and state your name and municipality of residence. We will now call those that have signed up for citizen input one at a time to the microphone. We do not have a microphone, that is a lie. So speak loudly. First is Cody Endress.
Do you want me to sit, stand, doesn't matter?
Whatever you would like, but yes, you can come up here.
Okay. All right. School board members, girls wrestling is the fastest growing sport in America. The Associated Press recently published an article called "Girls Are Falling in Love with Wrestling, the Nation's Fastest Growing High School Sport." Flow Wrestling, the premier high school wrestling website, recently published that across the country, women's wrestling saw an increase from 35,600 girls in 2022 to 52,400 girls in 2023. That increase is a staggering 47%. Early projections predict that this increase will be even higher, with new girls-only events popping up all over the country. With the same projection of 47% for next year, that new number would equate to over 77,000 girls wrestling in America. When looking at just Wisconsin wrestling numbers during the 22-23 season, Wisconsin had 750 girls. During the 23-24 season, Wisconsin increased to over 1,200 girls, an increase of 65%. Again, early projections predict that increase will be even higher, with new girls-only events popping up all over the state. With the same projection of 65% for next year, that new number would equate to over 2,000 girls wrestling in Wisconsin, which would be almost triple the amount of girls from only 2 years ago. Some may question if this is just at the high school level that girls wrestling is rapidly growing, and the answer is no. For the Wisconsin Wrestling Federation's Youth State Series tournament, girls wrestling has grown so rapidly that they had to go from a 2-day event to a 3-day event, with Sunday being a girl-only day as well. Even the NCAA cannot deny the growth of women's wrestling, as women's wrestling is set to become the 91st NCAA championship sport, with its first projected NCAA championships occurring in the winter of 2026. Shifting the focus back to high school girls wrestling, the WIAA plans to crown a team champion for girls wrestling in the 25-26 season, and is looking to develop a team state series in the next couple of years to provide more opportunities for girls-only teams. Even more impactful is that work is being done in preparation for the 25-26 season to have girls wrestle only girls throughout the state. Many people are asking why girls wrestling is blowing up, and that was the answer. Girls only practicing with other girls only wrestling against other girls, and girls only teams. Here in Lodi, we've already seen what providing girls the opportunities they deserve does. During the 22-23 season from ages 3rd to 12th grade, we had one girl wrestling throughout the program. Although there was a lot of interest from girls across the community, they were not interested in wrestling with the boys, which they shouldn't have to. During the 23-24 season, when we found a girls-only coach, 3 high school girls came out for the team when we had 0 the year before. We also started a girls-only wrestling program through Crew. In its first season, we had nearly 40 girls sign up, grades 3rd to 8th grade. When initially discussing this program, we were worried there was concerns that we wouldn't get 5 to 10 girls. I assured those in charge that we would get at least that, if not double. Thankfully, they green-lighted the program, and once again, we had 40 girls in the first year. It's time to have a girls-only high school wrestling team here in Lodi. The data around the nation, around the state, and within our community is overwhelming. If you give girls equal opportunities, they will embrace and take advantage of them. Got like 5 seconds left.
Yep, just a minute.
At the high school level, we already have girls-only coaches. We have donors who want to help. We even have ideas for where the girls can practice separately within the high school building. We also have girls who want to join if it's an only girls team. I look forward to continuing to working with you all to bring a girls-only wrestling program here to Lodi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bo Lane.
Good evening. My name is Bo Lane. I just finished my 25th year of coaching wrestling, 23 in some capacity in Lodi. I graduated from Lodi, wrestled for Mr. Anwan. Don't think I would be where I'm at in my life or sitting right here if it wasn't for wrestling and the impact it's had in lives. We have countless stories of what wrestling's done for boys over the years, and now I'd like to see if there could be an opportunity for that same thing to happen with the girls. We've had some girls on the teams over the years I've been coaching. I think it's time now to give them their own opportunity. There has been struggles with some of the girls, and what we usually see is there'd be interest in middle school and freshman, sophomore year, they might give it a try, but end up just for whatever reason not finishing 4 years. We did have one girl that graduated in 2010 that did wrestle for 4 years for us. She actually put together a letter that I'd like to share with you guys. I'll leave here. I can hand out when I'm done here. Just kind of talking about what her experience was being an only girl on the boys team and how having a girls only program may have impacted how her results she's gotten. That she moved on to wrestle in college. She still is coaching. She's one of the top women officials in the country right now. So it's pretty awesome. So my questions are, and I know you can't answer this now, but Cody talked about the stats. The stats don't lie. We've seen it over the years. It's exploding. So the questions I have for you guys, what's the process? How do we make this happen? What can we do to help move this forward? I've asked some of the administration some questions, and some of the answers they're looking for is what are other school districts doing? How many other girl-only programs are there in the state? And there are some of those. My response would be, why do we have to follow what somebody else is doing? This is growing. This is an opportunity. Why can't we be a leader? Why can't Lodi be one of the programs that everybody else looks to see how we made this happen and how successful it could be? I look at the other sports in the district. Let's just say football, for example. There's 3 levels in football. There's varsity, JV, and JV2. Wrestling, we have varsity and JV. That's it. There's no JV2. There's no freshman team. So my next question is, why can't we have 3 levels? Why can't it be a varsity, a JV, and a girls team? It's the same. If we want to talk equity in the sports, whatever, there's equity with the sports. The other teams are funding, coaching staff, and equipment, and everything. Transportation for 3 teams. I would ask that we have an opportunity to do the same as well. Like I said, that's what I think would be equitable. I know there's Title IX, issues and questions and stuff like that. So I guess how do we navigate through that and what's the opportunities for that. We do have resources, Cody and I both, of programs who do have girls-only teams and have been very successful in the few short years they have. We've talked to them at different tournaments. They're open to talking to the school board or helping the program. If I can have just a couple more seconds. The wrestling community is a group of hardworking people. We have a large supporting community, wrestling community here in Lodi. We will continue to fight for this opportunity for the girls. Like Cody said, we have the girls for the wrestling program. There should be very few hurdles to overcome in this process. So I would just ask that please don't have no be the first answer when people are asking for stuff like that. The answer I think should be, even if it may end up being no, but the answer should be, let's see if we can figure out how to make this happen. So thank you for your time. Do you want me to hand these out?
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you guys for doing it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on to consent agenda items. Items in this section will be adopted as a group unless a board member requests a specific item to remove from consent agenda and addressed separately. So we have our vouchers. We have a fundraiser request for the golf team. The MAC fundraiser, which is a brat stand. We have a fundraiser report, the FFA fruit sale. We have field trip request for the middle school Washington DC trip and the high school music department spring trip. We have some committee recommendations. Personnel committee, the summer maintenance compensation, handbook changes for support staff vacation accrual, inclement weather procedures for support staff, certified staff curriculum rate, and our facility and finance committee approved or is recommending band uniforms. And under other, we have our winter sports summary and our free and reduced lunch fees. Resignations, we have dance team coach, OSC advisor, volunteer softball coach, high school math teacher, NHS advisor, middle school assistant basketball coach, and a high school assistant boys soccer coach. For co-curricular, we have cheerleading football advisors, 2 at 50%, boys soccer, head coach, assistant, 2 assistants, 2 volunteers, cross-country high school, head coach, assistant, and volunteer, and then middle school head coach and an assistant. Girls swim coaches, we have our head coach and an assistant and 2 volunteers. Tennis coaches, head coach, assistant, and a volunteer. Volleyball coaches, head coach, and then middle school head coach and an assistant. Volunteer high school track coach. Change in contract for our softball head coach to volunteer coach. Volunteer softball coach, and interim play director. We have a crew wrestling coach. And under regular staff, we have IT apprentice, LCAT program coordinator, long-term English/STEAM substitute teacher extension, and speech and language pathologist. Under personnel, we have leave without pay request. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 of them. And then no, I don't know. We just have a few. I can't really tell. There's several numbers. And then we have an extension of leave.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the addition of the approval of interim play director Erica Bardwell.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Christie, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, we have the elementary OSC roof bid.
Administrative reports first.
Yes. Just making sure Vince is on top of that. Yes.
We wanna get there, I know.
Good job, Vince. Good job. You guys were all excited. You thought we were skipping you. The middle school board report.
Yeah, good evening, board. First thing I want to do is recognize our students of the month for February who were recognized for their initiative. And I want to thank our PBIS team. They've revamped our student of the month and they came up with this yard sign that we send home. So you may see this yard sign around town in people's lawns. I know there's one on Sauk Street on the way up, the street that I saw the other day. So just another way that we can recognize them and have the student field recognized and a way for their family to celebrate that.
Do they get to keep the sign?
They get to keep the sign, yep.
Oh, nice.
It's part of the process, so. Next thing is, we're gonna start forward exams tomorrow, so we've been, I'm not really huge on like this test prep thing, we've been prepping for, these skills the entire school year. And, really proud of what our teachers have done and our students have done, and we're really excited to see what kind of results we get, come this summer. Moving on to 8th grade, the Washington DC trip. We had 65 students travel to Washington DC. I want to thank the chaperones, Ms. Chapman, Paula Ton, Sienna Kailwertz, Dwayne Daly, and myself for chaperoning the trip this year. We had a great time. It is very much a whirlwind. We do as many things as you can possibly do in the amount of time that you're there. That's basically what it feels like. But I would also say the kids were just fantastic on the trip. I was a little worried like how the bus ride would be, and it was really just like relaxing and quiet, and the kids were just really great the whole time. So I want to thank especially Amy Christensen for all the time and dedication and organization that she has in that trip. Like we get there and she knows exactly where we need to be, when to be there. She's really great at setting expectations for the kids so they know exactly what to expect in different places, what they're expected in terms of behavior and things like that. It really makes the trip go very smoothly. So we also had 8th graders that stayed back here, and I want to thank Sarah Gleiss for all she did to really organize a great week for them, because sometimes I think they could feel kind of left out, and what she did is she organized a week long of activities for those students. So some of the things that they did is they worked on screen printing. Sarah's sister is a screen printer and came in and they actually worked and carved like their own screen printing thing. It was a great experience for them. They went to the McKenzie Center, worked on some archery, and saw some native species of wildlife. They worked on mapping the Ice Age Trail and also visited the Lodi Historical Society. And then the legendary David Zilker made an appearance to show his falcon right in Lodi Middle School cafeteria. So I want to thank, like I said, Sarah Gleiss and the other 8th grade teachers for providing that opportunity for those students. I want to recognize Ashley Galbronson and Angela Roberts for all their work on Solon Ensemble. We had 24 middle school students that participated in that, and that's a number that I anticipate is going to continue to grow as we go on. We had an outrageous outing. We had a movie night. We had 100 middle school students travel to Portage to see the movie Migration. It was a great opportunity for them. I know sometimes we think going to the movie theater, not everyone gets that opportunity, so I'm really thankful that we can provide that opportunity for students. So I want to thank our student celebration team. They set up a lot of different things for our school, from school dances. They set up an assembly, and this is one of the other things that they set up opportunities for our students. So I want to thank them for setting that up. Next thing is National Cereal Day. So you may or may not know, National Cereal Day is on March 7th, or was on March 7th. So this is the second year in a row we've done this, and Michelle Howe organizes this. And what we do is we ask students to donate boxes of cereal, and we donate all of those to Reach Out Lodi. And the goal is we try to get as many boxes of cereal. Our goal is to make a domino all the way around like the hall, so we can just start it. We didn't quite get there. We needed 500 and something, but we still were able to get 325 boxes of cereal that we could donate to Reach Out Lodi.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that is all from the middle school.
Do you guys have video of the dominoes?
Yeah,
Somebody
going
does.
down.
It doesn't work as well as they ever wanted to, because it has different sizes and the spacing never quite works out, but it's still exciting.
Thank you, Derek. High school.
All right, thanks, Heather. First of all, I want to recognize some students. First of all, in the classroom, computer applications class, which is taught by Sue Ziegler. So some students have had an opportunity to get their certificate in Microsoft Office, and the students that you see there earned their certificate in Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. So congratulations, Tyler, Bentley, Trent, Sim Cook or Matthew and Mason for doing that. They are working towards more certifications in that class, so I appreciate Ms. Ziegler giving them those opportunities. Also, we have 4 of our football players that are on the state championship team. They're going to be playing in the All-Star Game, which is up in Oshkosh, the WFCA All-Star Game. So Josh Klon, Jace Kalinsky, Henry Keppen, Brady Poles, and if you go to the next page, we also have a couple coaches that will be coaching in the All-Star Game. So Coach Poles and Coach Sachin, as well as our trainer who has been awesome this year, not just in football, but in all of our sports, Amy Havlicek. So they will all be participating in that opportunity in July. I did want to quickly talk about the spring play, Boing Boing, that happened, and there's some information there. I really appreciated our directors, Ellen Kaiser-Endelman and Erica Bardwell, who was able to take over for her. And there was a note that was sent to me by a community member that you can read through. When I got the note, it was very nice. I immediately went out into the comments to find those actors to show them the note so they could read it. And it was in cursive, so it was amazing. They had a hard time reading it.
Oh, that's too funny.
So I read it to them, and if you have an opportunity to read a note, if you can read it, I might just pass it around. I have it right
That'd
here.
be
So
awesome.
I have a feeling it was one of our senior citizen members, and it was just a very nice. She said some very nice things to our kids. So if you want to pass it around, thank you.
That's awesome.
Moving on, I didn't write anything about the Thai study tour, but I do want to thank J.P. Fossbender and Kelsey Barlow for everything that they did. You can see all the families in that picture that are involved in hosting. I appreciate Vince being able to come over and speak to our kids, and the mayor to be able to be there. And then, of course, all of our students that were involved. Crew Chat, he was here for the last meeting. We really appreciate everything that he has done, not just for his students, but our community as well. I'm going to let Caleb talk a little bit about prom. We do have the Students of the Month. You can see them there that were chosen by our departments. And then the Optimist School Board Candidate Forum. There are a few teachers I want to thank. Renee Moldenhauer, Trevor Evans, J.P. Fossbender, Jim McKellar, and Leo Olson for bringing their classes there. I really appreciate the Optimist Club giving our students an opportunity to be able to see that. Our students don't get that opportunity very often, and there were a few students that were able to vote for the school board, so it was great. Advanced placement tests, you can see when they're coming up. We do have the pre-ACT that's going to be coming up here Wednesday, so we do have a late start day. We sent out an IC message yesterday, so just families, 11th and 12th graders don't need to come until 11 o'clock on Wednesday. And then the 3rd annual Jobs Fair is Thursday this week. We've got a really busy week. You can see all of the businesses that are going to be participating in that Jobs Fair, so we'll have all of our students go through the gym. The pep band, I'll let Caleb talk about that. We did just have some recent band concerts, and I'm always amazed by the talent of our kids. Not necessarily always in the gym or on the field, but definitely on the stage. And that has a lot to do with Kate McRae and our band director, Doug Cave. So I appreciate them. And then finally, our chorus actually had some visitors. So a big thank you to the Ripon College Chamber Singers who visited LHS on Friday, March 22nd. They were able to sing and talk about their experiences in college. And then finally, there are some pictures on the bottom after we took our ACT. Many of our, not just our juniors, but some of our sophomores and freshmen that took the practice ACT back in March. And that is the high school.
Thank you.
So, Joe, we were able to go down to the Bucks game and watch the band. They were wonderful. They were just so cute because they were so excited and they were so professional, and it was just lovely.
Well, the comments that they went, because they got to be down right by the court,
Yes.
to really appreciate the size of NBA players.
Oh my gosh.
And the athleticism. You get an idea sitting way up in the stands, but to be right down there, nice and close.
And what was
pretty
nice
impressive.
is they let all of us that came to watch the band sit down there too until it started, and then you went here.
So, yep.
So how did the band do that? Like they got invited, or they got requested or asked, or?
So I think the Bucks
sign
reach
up?
out to all high schools and give them that opportunity
They do.
at different games. And I think Doug had done it in a previous district before and thought it would be a great opportunity for our kids, so,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Nancy Appleyard isn't that old. She's not a senior citizen. She's
Oh, sorry.
my age.
My fault.
Anyways, LCAT, school board report.
Okay, now just a minute. I gotta look up there. Gotta settle down. I guess I am the senior citizen. Okay. I just don't like it pointed out. Okay, school board report for LCAT. Alrighty, so medication locks boxes were distributed to crew to distribute to the community members who use the pool facility and who need a way to properly secure their medications. Medication lock boxes are funded through the state opioid response grant. Medication lock boxes will be given to Pastor Ellen at Lodi Presbyterian Church for members who are in need. Please contact LCAT if you know of a community member who could use a free medication lockbox. LCAT met with the Summer Safety Fair Committee on March 14, 2024 to continue to plan for this year's Safety Fair. This event will take place on June 6, 2024 in conjunction with summer school registration. Over 10 different organizations will take part this year. This community event educates the families on how to keep their children safe during the summer, and it was very well attended last year. People really seemed to like it. Tom Farley came back to be a free presenter for the 12th graders on April 3rd, 2024. Tom is the brother of the late actor Chris Farley. Tom currently works for
Terry.
Rose.
I was gonna ask.
He didn't come because we had a snow day that day.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
virtual day.
Yes,
So
sorry.
skip that item.
Are we
Skip that item.
rescheduling or no?
We're working on research.
Working on rescheduling.
Rescheduling, that's
I
right.
was excited for them to
Yep.
do that.
Oh, okay, snow day. The school board is invited to our April LCAT meeting, which will also feature our Lodi Pride Annual Award Ceremony. This event will take place on April 24th, 2024 at 9 a.m. here. We are looking for nominations for these awards. Do you know any groups or individuals who exemplify Lodi Pride while caring for the youth in Lodi? Nominees can be adults and/or students. If so, please visit LCAT's web or Facebook page to access a link with the nomination form. Nominations are due April 22nd, so they're done. But, you know, so number 5, LCAT conducted Narcan training.
Well, you missed it, so.
Yeah. Narcan training at the elementary school in March. 7 elementary staff were trained in the use of Narcan and the signs and symptoms of an opiate overdose. Narcan training will be offered to the core medical staff team on 3 different dates in the month of April. Please reach out to Brian if you know of a group in the community who would like Narcan training. And just to let people know what the core medical staff team are first responders in each building. So people, teachers and staff, other staff, will volunteer to be those people. Mr. Jelnick was one for years.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
You were on the core team for years.
I was for years, yes.
Yeah. So people are on that core team and they volunteer their time to get trained extra on everything. So
And each
they're-
building has
And
a
each
core
building
team.
has a core team. And moi started that whole thing years ago, so, yes.
Well, not too long ago, right? Because you're not a senior citizen.
No.
Right?
No, it was probably more than 26 years ago that I did that. So LCAT is partnering with PTO and Lodi School District Wellness Committee on Stride with Lodi Pride. This amazing event brings together community and school and serves as a fundraiser for the primary, elementary, OSC, and middle schools. Stride with Pride will take place on Thursday, March 2nd. Feel
May.
free.
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Feel free to come out and walk with the kids on the track. Thank you to the PTO as they are managing all financial aspects of this event.
That's a pretty fun event. I
May
did that with my
2nd.
niece last year. It was pretty
Yes.
cute. It's pretty awesome.
And the kids love it.
Thank
All
you.
right, that's it.
Caleb, student report.
So as Mr. Jelnick mentioned, I'll be talking about the PEPS band, or the PEP band with the Milwaukee Bucks. This was a very exciting opportunity organized by Mr. Haft. We went down on March 21st when they played the Nets, and it was a fantastic opportunity. We sounded great, I think. I don't know if you agree with that.
You did sound great.
I don't know, from the stand it sounded pretty great, so. Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity. We played for about 10 minutes and just absolutely
That's awesome.
amazing. The Sing and Swing. So every year, the music department hosts our annual Sing and Swing. It is our main fundraiser for our music boosters. Recently, they've been doing a lot of work helping with scholarships. Like we just had 3 chamber choir girls go to honor choir, and that can be very expensive. So we're working out getting scholarships for them. Sasha Radinsky, Jennifer Schmidt, and Emily Tenbarge were going to honors choir. So that's an exciting opportunity. And then they helped support the band uniforms, which we just voted to approve. So yeah, please come see us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Acapella, rock, anything you want, jazz. There's a $10 charge at the door, but it's a lot of fun.
What's the date?
Who's emceeing?
April 20th.
Myself and
That's what I
Grandfire.
thought.
Oh, jeez.
I'm guessing.
And then finally
It's worth the
prom.
$10 right there.
Yes, yeah.
Well, listen to that voice.
Yeah.
We'll have enough dad jokes to get through the night, don't worry. Then finally, prom is this Saturday, the 13th, from 8 to 11 o'clock. And the theme chosen by my class, the class of 2025, is fairy tale. So that'll be fun. And then additionally, we chose our prom court, which is a picture of them there below. They are Ava Baldwin and Addison Crane, Kyle Hoffman and Tyler Oberling, Ella Johnson and Connor Scrum, Violet Colliard and Tatum Tatro, Maya Bonifield and Grace Burkholder, and myself and Blake Simpson.
Awesome, thanks, Kayla.
That's a nice picture.
All right. Student
She's not here.
services.
She's not here.
Oh. Primary school.
Good evening. So, a couple of highlights. One, we are in the process of looking at our schedules for the 2024 through 2026 schedule. Just with everything we have with Act 20, we're gonna try to come up with a 2-year schedule. As we go through the process, the staff, we have the same procedure and routine where we look at what are our main priorities, and then staff have an opportunity to share things they like about their current schedule, as well as things they'd like to adjust, as long as it fits with some of those priorities that we have listed here. And so we've got just a couple different tweaks and changes we're gonna try to do to improve our schedules, so looking at that. The next thing for nurturing the whole student, a shout out to Jean Winter and Vicki Bartholomew for their vision and hearing screening. This is something we offer to all students in kindergarten and first grade. And as you can see from this report, there are just a lot of great benefits of having this done, and just that early noticing and being able to help support parents and having them to follow up. So again, I just really appreciate Jean and Vicki and all the time they put into doing this for that. Summer school, we are busy getting things ready. Shout out to Emma Newmeyer again for trying to help make sure all the schedules are filled up. And currently, right now, we are staffed with all of our, with all of our employees, which is phenomenal. So that's been a huge celebration. And then Pillar 4 District Workforce, working on a little get to know you activity. I'll have this in the next report, but our teachers are having some quizzes on how well they know their colleagues. So just trying to do a little something to motivate and help them get to know each other, so.
So is that gonna be good, or is that gonna cause arguments? No, I'm just kidding.
It is hilarious because I went through and I told them they need to put their name on it, and they had to give, they got 85% or higher, they could be, get towards a prize. I have 2 people with no name on their quizzes. I know, I was thinking, what, look at these teachers, but it was pretty funny. I wasn't sure how many would be excited about it. I had like 30 in my mailbox after 3 days,
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it was good.
So it says kindergarten vision screening, 89 students. How many do you expect for that class coming in, kindergarten? How many, so the kindergarten class that's coming, right? So 4K is a hit or miss. We don't always get all the 4K kids.
Right.
And so it says there were 89 kindergartners screened for vision.
This class, yes.
Which
This
is
was a lower
yay.
class,
No,
yes.
but 90 is a big number for an incoming class. So
Yes.
Do you think it'll be right around 89 or
When we
bigger,
were
or-
looking at the numbers, I know we had looked at this recently, I think it was the
Looked at
90 to
trends of, like,
95,
how much
yes.
jump we have from K to 1, and we increased it like
10, about 10 students, yeah.
beyond that,
Okay.
So we're anticipating,
We anticipate probably a 10, based on historically what we saw.
Good, okay.
yeah.
Because you hear constantly, people are not having kids, people are not having kids. This is good numbers for
We're
us.
But that
How many
group
had
did
kids?
dip a little bit, but
Right.
the 4K numbers, when we look back historically, seems to be back up to where it was.
That's good.
It's just
Yeah.
something great.
It's very good.
Well, just so you know, I feel like my daughter's generation is having kids everywhere, so. I said, stay in Lodi.
Not everywhere, just Lodi.
Yeah, that's what I said, stay in Lodi though. Thank you.
Thanks.
Lodi Elementary OSC.
Oh, thank you. So a couple of things wanted to highlight on the board report. First of all, we added a thank you section to our newsletter that I just wanted to highlight, just because we do have so many different people who go above and beyond in this community to support our learning and support classrooms and support students. And so staff, what they do is for that month, they just send me some people they want to recognize. We focus on teams, so instead of just a classroom, things that people have done for a team or for our school. You will notice in there that Mr. Adam Steinberg's name is in there for some help with our Welcome Back Assembly. He did a great job going over and explaining solar eclipse, and it was great to see kids utilizing the skills he taught them today out on the cement this afternoon. Ford exam, we have started the Ford exam. Our 4th graders get to do not only English language arts and math and social, but they also get to do social studies and science. Our third graders and fifth graders are just doing math and English language arts. Obviously, that's a big task, and our students have done a great job just taking that on with a great attitude, and our staff as well, preparing them for this, and we're excited to see our results as well. I showed you some pictures of different ways that we've been engaging students in learning everywhere, inside the classroom and outside the classroom as the weather's gotten a little nicer. And so we're thankful for those opportunities for our students. Want to highlight Taher and the kids in the kitchen. Had some kids making pizzas after school, and they really enjoyed that. Math 24 competition, and then just ways, OSCA with Dairy Prairie restoration and work. And then recess update. So we, like Mrs. Fossbender had shared, we've been working on schedules, and one piece of our schedule change for next year that I want to make you aware of was that we were going down from 4 lunch periods down to 3. And so we'll have grade level lunch periods, so they will still have their team individual recess. So we'll have a third grade, a fourth grade, a fifth grade, and OSC recess, but then during lunch, we will have LES and OSC combined third grade lunch and then recess. Fifth grade lunch and then recess, fourth grade lunch and then recess.
So they get to see.
All their peers.
They
That's
get to
nice.
see each other, nice.
And then along with that, the soccer club had brought some goals over that we've been able to use, and some families donated some soccer balls, so kids have been really enjoying that in between the snow. And some students cleaning up some garbage for us. And then as we finish up the year, our last community value was being empathetic and encouraging, and you can see the students who were recognized for that. And then in the middle of this month and in the middle of May, we will recognize students from each classroom for being guardians of Lodi Pride. The last thing I wanted to highlight was we did have that assembly, and then also make sure that you know that you're invited to the Fine Arts Night. So that'll be happening on April 18th.
Thank you. Curriculum.
I'm gonna start out with something that's actually not on the board report, and we didn't know if we were gonna be able to do this because we didn't know what the weather is going to be like today, but we were fortunate enough that we had some nice weather this afternoon, and we were able to have a 1st through 12th grade opportunity to do the eclipse viewing. And really a lot of the reason that was able to happen is back to Michelle Howe. So Michelle Howe is so on top of things, and she was in contact with me in August about the eclipse and doing an eclipse viewing event and ordering glasses for the eclipse, and there was a special educator discount, so like our glasses were under 50 cents a piece that we were able to order, and getting a grant from the Wisconsin Society of Science Teachers to make that happen. And so we were so prepared to make this happen, where I think a lot of districts, by the time it got on the radar, there was just too much going on. Another big thank you too is just to our principal team. Anytime when you have all of your students go outside for any type of event in partially through the day, that can be a heavy lift. And I was up at the primary school, and I know Amy did such a phenomenal job of being able to navigate and coach some of our youngest students. I was just so impressed with her. And it's a lot because of that we were able to give students this opportunity. So it was a great thing. You're gonna see lots of pictures on Facebook. We sent a communication out to guardians through Infinite Campus with an opt-out form. We had a couple that chose to opt out, but not many at all. And it was a great opportunity for our students. So that wasn't in here because we didn't know if we were gonna be able to do it, but we were able to, so. Top of mind, actually these first two kind of go together. So one, you should know that we are required by state statute to do a reading screener with all students in 4K through 2nd grade, and we have had to do that for as long as I've been a director of curriculum instruction, which has been about about 10 years. So one of the things you should know though is there has been the flexibility placed locally for you to choose your screener. And then people who are in the know that there is actually a grant you could apply to get reimbursed for some of those funds. So annually I apply for the grant. This year we received back from the state $2,124 in reimbursement for those screeners. Now the next piece of this, Act 20, Wisconsin Act 20, strips away that local control as far as choosing your early reader screener, and the state is going to choose an early reader screener for grades 4K now through 3rd that all districts will have to administer. Because of Wisconsin Act 20 and some of the timelines, DPI has really felt a crunch in choosing that screener, and we will not find out what the screener is until, we're probably gonna get, I imagine over the next couple of months, we're gonna get a little bit more insight, but July 1 is their deadline. Turning around as a district and being able to get all of the teachers trained to be able to deliver that screener and get your system set up for it is a daunting task, and they realized that after passing Act 20. So recently, Governor Evers signed an amendment to Act 20 that will allow districts to not have to administer that early reader screener until now the winter assessment window of next school year, rather than having to do it fall, winter, spring. You have to do it in the winter. So that buys districts some time to truly give staff everything that they'll need to administer in a way that's going to be done with fidelity. So that's something you should know about. But we really have decided internally, as soon as we find out about that screener, if we can do that heavy lift and administer it in the fall, we are going to try to. But we're also we're gonna see. We're gonna see when we get that information. But there is some cascading effects of that. So based on the screener, that kicks into place as soon as you have that information. There's some things you have to do. You have to create an early reading plan for students who fall under certain percentile rank. So now that all gets shifted. That doesn't have to occur in the fall. That gets shifted where the first time you're gonna have to do that as district is the winter now. So that cascades some of that stuff backwards. So those are things that we're working on and keeping on top of and making sure that our processes are all in line with as these things become updated.
Can I just get a clarification? So the introduction of Act 20 might possibly be slightly delayed, is basically what you're saying?
Some components.
Some components of it, right?
Correct.
And then the following year, it will all go smoothly. And then from there
They all
on,
smile
right?
when you
It's
say
just a slower introduction is all.
Yeah, they're
Because
just
they're
wrestling
not-
that some,
they're not on
wrestling
that.
with just acknowledging that some of those times that were set in the initial act
We're too short.
created some obstacles, so yeah.
So will this have an impact on like the scorecard that we normally get at all?
Yeah, it will. So some of the screening data that you see, let's say iReady, for example, for grades 4K through 3, we're going to have to really continue to discuss as an administrative team. Once we find out this new screener, what type of data that's giving us and how that interacts with some of our current tools, what we keep, what we shift away from, et cetera. So we'll have to make some decisions, but we're kind of we don't know yet.
Right, but so if our numbers dip down a little bit, it's not going to be completely accurate, just for our community's sake, for them, for understanding where we're at as a district. Because I know we've put a lot of work into, being on top of the scorecard, but if they're moving this back now, the goalpost has moved back, then
It's really just a lot, yeah, go ahead.
The only part that's getting adjusted, Christie, is in like our normal system right now, we're continuing with what we've been doing, but the additional things that Act 20 is asking us to do, we're waiting, we need to wait till winter. So really, right now, we will have to see once we get those, if we're just going to add those pieces onto what we currently do, or if we're going to end up replacing them.
okay.
So there won't be a big change to the scorecard right now, it would be in the future years, but it would be a change maybe in what we use. But right now, for next year, it's probably pretty similar.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, we're kind of just holding tight right now until we hear from DPI and can unpack what this new screener will offer. Yeah.
If they get it done.
I'm hopeful. The next piece is just, you should know, you heard about the vacancies that we have. So the hiring season is upon us. These have been posted and we have primary school interviews tomorrow night, the second interviews on Thursday, and we have math interviews coming up, and then LSC interviews next week. Yep. So big thanks to not only our principals, because they work a whole day, and then usually in the evenings, I think our interviews tomorrow night are till 7, but then all of those teachers that are on those interview teams that volunteer their time to help find a new colleague. And that's a heavy lift for them, and then they'll come back and work the next day. And then the last one is just an update for the love of reading, a summer program we were able to put in place with ESSER $3 to purchase the foundational components of that, which actually has been a wonderful investment because that has increased our summer school numbers, which we can continue to rely on that program now moving forward, which increases our summer school enrollment and FTE, all of that. And this year, a little pleasant twist from Deb Volk and Grace Shira is they are going to shift the name from For the Love of Reading to The Love of Learning because they're looking to add not only reading, but math, fact, practice.
Nice.
So that's something they know that's a focus of the district, so they're gonna offer that.
That's awesome.
Great idea.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. All right, district administrator report.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank our families and our staff for the virtual day we had last week. We typically don't want to think in April that we're going to have an inclement weather day, but we did, and we were able to go virtual. It's a heavy lift for, again, our families, especially for our youngest learners and our staff, but I appreciate the collaboration between our faculty and staff and parents. And hopefully this will be the last inclement weather day, but it's Wisconsin, who knows? As you heard when we did our Taking Positive Steps for Service Award, we have 2 board members who are leaving after tonight's meeting. That means we have 2 new board members who are returning and 1 who is returning. So Terry Hagg's returning. So just thankful for everyone who runs for the school board and their willingness to serve our families of the school district. Thanks to Scott Burkett, Bill Whitworth, and Craig Giese for the willingness to serve. Congratulations to Terry Hagg for winning a 2nd term on the board. And congratulations and welcome to Sarah Ripp and Teresa Valencia for being elected to the board for a 3-year term. New board members will start their term on April 22nd with the reorganization meeting, which will happen at 7:30 that night. Next Monday, the Rotary Club is sponsoring the Outstanding Impact Awards ceremony, so congratulations to all the students and staff recognized at this event. As I always share with those in attendance, the educators who are recognized that night just represent all the educators within our district. We have 10 students out of the class of 2024. We get to select an educator who has an outstanding impact on a life, but as I remind everybody, or will remind everybody next Monday, other students in our class also have outstanding educators in their lives. They just don't have the opportunity to share that at this ceremony. Even the students who are chosen have a real difficult time choosing one educator who has an outstanding impact. So appreciate the Rotary Club continuing to sponsor this event. Be on the lookout for a survey. We really care deeply about what we're doing for our students, and we're always looking at ways that we can improve our educational experience, inform starter partnerships with our parents and guardians. To help accomplish this goal, we're conducting a parent-guardian survey to help us understand what we are doing well and what we need to improve. Families should have received an email from the district today giving them a heads up, a survey we sent out on Wednesday, April 10th. The survey will open through the 26th of April. We encourage every family to take a survey on each of their children in the district. And Nick mentioned the eclipse, so I don't
That
have to go
survey
in
you
for
said
that.
is for each child, so if you
Yep,
have several
yep,
that you should
absolutely,
be.
because there's
okay.
different things about, like, what's, the climate
Different
for the
grades.
building they're in,
Okay.
and those things, so you should be able to
Okay.
choose for each child, yep.
All right, thank you, Vince. Okay, it's a little long this time, I promise I won't do this again if I'm back in this
Do we
position.
need a 3-minute timer?
I know, I'll read fast, I'm sorry.
No, because those are
Fast.
wonderful.
I know,
Don't
I
we?
just.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you, but as you have heard me talk about for several board meetings, we had an election for our school board. I hope you are able to get out and vote and make your voice heard. So next school board meeting, we will have 2 new board members joining us, Teresa Valencia and Sarah Ripp. I would like to congratulate both of them and welcome them to the board. I'm looking forward to working with both of you. I would also like to congratulate incumbent Terry Hagg for winning her seat again. It's been a pleasure to have her on the board and excited for her to continue with us. I want to express a very heartfelt thank you to all who ran for the school board. Thank you for having so much passion for our community to put your name on the ballot. It takes a lot to put yourself out there and stand up for what you believe in when it comes to our kids. I hope you know and feel that your time and effort does not go unnoticed. The Lodi community is so fortunate to have so many people willing to fight for what's right for our kids. Thank you so much. And please, no matter the outcome of the election, do not stop being active in our community, keeping us board members on our toes, and having passion for what's right for our kids. This paragraph's gonna be hard for me, but I'll do it. Along with the excitement of having a new board with new viewpoints and new voices, also comes having to say goodbye to Angie and Christy. It is something that I have been dreading for months now. You two have been my two wing women since I got the honor of being president of the board. I know I can always look at one of you to keep me in line and make sure I'm doing what I should be. You two are very different people, but you both brought such a calming presence to the board that will be greatly missed. On a personal level, I want to say thank you for your friendships, your welcoming smiles, your mentorship, and everything that you have taught me since coming onto this board. As a board, I think I can speak for all. We want to thank you both so much for not only your time, talent, and your service to our community, but for always showing respect for all, even during disagreements, your insights that usually made the rest of us say, ooh, I like that idea, and for being on this board during one of the most difficult times our community has had to go through. We wish you both all the best. Enjoy your little bit of extra time not spent in this boardroom. Keep being active and vocal in our community, and stay in touch. Thank you again, and we will miss you. I know my report is long this month, and I apologize for that, so I just wanted to mention two quick things. Parents, you'll be getting a survey, as Vince mentioned, from the school. I believe it's this Wednesday, which Vince did say, and closes near end of the month. Please take the time to fill it out and let your voice and opinion be heard. We do not put it off, like I always do with things, and then end up possibly missing the deadline. We want to hear from you. The other thing that I wanted to mention was volunteering. In the last 2 weeks, I have heard from several very involved parents for years now, saying that since their children are graduating, they're about ready to step aside. Believe me, it's going to be big shoes to fill. So please never think that your time is not needed by our booster clubs, our youth sports, our music and art departments, our new PTO, and all other organizations. They all want everyone that can help, whether that be a little or a lot of your time, donations, etc. These groups are what gives our kids so many opportunities. So with the end of school approaching, please consider stepping up to help, so next year will be covered. It not only helps with giving our kids all the opportunities that Lodi has to offer, but it can also be a very rewarding personal experience. You get to be social, meet new people, and stay in touch and involved. Lastly, I promise, I would just like to end my report with saying thank you for giving me the opportunity to be the school board president for the last year. Although nerve-wracking at times, it has been an absolute joy and honor to serve as president. I take this role very seriously, and I'm so honored to be able to have the title. We will see what the board reorganization meeting has in store for our next board roles, but in case this is my last president report, thank you to my fellow board members, and especially to Adam, for giving me great guidance through it all. As always, thank you to the community for giving me the opportunity to be involved in something that I am so passionate about. Okay. So now we are going to move on to our roof bids.
We almost skipped all that for this.
I know. Hi, Sarah. I'm glad you could join us. She can hear us.
Yeah, she said she did.
Okay, all right.
So the Facility and Finance Committee met with C.G. Schmidt to review the roofing bids for the elementary OSC roof project for the summer of 2024. The committee had previously met with the roofing consultant, PRA Architects, and C.G. Schmidt to discuss the roof on March 19th. We sent bids out, talking to C.G. Schmidt, to 22 roofing companies. They had 8 or 9 different roofing companies walk the roof. They ended up getting 4 roofing companies that put a bid on the roof. So the committee discussed the cost of the roofing project and how it will impact the other projects. The final bid came in at $2,518,300. So 2.5, a little over 2.5 million. Which again is over what our original budget was going to be. But remember, when we first put this referendum together, that was long before inflation had hit us. So I think we're pretty happy with the committee. I think is pretty happy with where the bids came in. I really appreciate the work C.G. Schmidt has done, even in between the committee meeting and this. We've been able to drop that meeting money or that cost some more through some value engineering, He's been working through the roofing companies and the other companies that have been involved. So there is a bid for, that bid package is there for the board to approve, and I recommend approval. The other thing I would mention is the schedule. If this is approved, the schedule for this will start right after Memorial Day, and will slide into the beginning of the school year, the first couple weeks of the school year, if everything goes according to plan.
But, and like we were talking about, though, it won't be any classrooms by then, it would just be the gyms, and
Yep.
we can take turns with the gyms, and it
Correct.
should be all good for.
Yeah, so we would, the last two areas we would do with the two gyms, that way we could do one, and we could have students in the other one, and then vice versa, but all the classrooms and things will be done by that time.
Make a motion to approve the LES/OSC roof bid package as presented.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Scott, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
So I'll make one more point, and that is, it was a long process going through these bids and stuff. And the numbers were higher and then come down lower. And in this bid, it says mechanical and plumbing systems, Parker Heating and Cooling is almost $533,000. And electrical, Westfalt Electrical of almost $29,000. Those were never in, that money was never in the original plan. And that came out of putting a roof on that school, you have to do these things. So that's like an add-on. So the point I was trying to make is that this bid probably would have came in under what it was expected to come in at, without those two on there.
It'd have been close.
It would have been, yeah.
So if can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I was just gonna add, I mean, that has to be in there to get everything up to code.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not like we were just adding it for fun,
No,
obviously.
definitely
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, that's a good point, too.
No for fun on roofs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna increase the insulation on the roof to come up to code, which again will help with energy costs as well.
Anything else? All in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
We're all here
Sarah's
now.
here. All right. Approval of the staff administration compensation.
Yeah, the Personnel Committee had a very busy evening on April 3rd as it looked to address compensation for staff for this coming school year. The committee is always very cognizant of trying to keep our staff compensation competitive with area districts, where the consumer price index is, and this last year that was 4.12%, but also where that, as a district, we're a referendum district, and every time compensation is an ongoing cost, so that always impacts referendums. They were trying to balance that as they work through compensation. When they start these discussions, they typically start with the discussion with a CPI level and look at the costing of different levels of compensation as it plays out the following year, and then they look at the 5-year projections as we go forward. In addition, this year, in overall compensation for staff, the Personnel Committee also considered recommendations that came from the Support Staff Compensation Focus Group. And one of the areas of recommendation that came out of there was to buy out the tier structure and get rid of the tier structure that's in the support staff compensation model. And that was something that we had a support staff compensation group. We met several times. They had several recommendations. They came to the Personnel Committee. The personnel asked them to go back and take a look at getting rid of the tier structure because ultimately it seemed that it was more beneficial to all staff if we were able to go ahead without that tier structure. So that's into this process. And a final area is considered that the committee considered that we had some district staff, support staff who were not up to the starting pay in their level. So they looked at making sure that everybody was above the starting pay level. So when you start looking at these recommendations, that all those different things are kind of in here. So it was, again, a very long conversation for the Personnel Committee and trying to incorporate all those different pieces. So they unanimously made the following recommendations to the full board. A 4.25% compensation increase applied as a percentage for support staff, and a supplemental compensation increase that buys out the support staff compensation tiers and gets all support staff to above the starting rate of the current employment level. A 4.25 compensation increase for the professional exempt staff, with the first 500 of the increase being applied to a flat rate for PPG completion, the remainder being applied a percentage on salaries. a 4.25% compensation increase apply as a percentage on salaries for directors, specialists, coordinators, and administrative staff, and a 4.25 compensation increase for district administrator. So I would recommend that you move forward with the committee's recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve a 4.25% compensation increase applied as a percentage for support staff and a supplemental compensation increase that buys out the support staff compensation tiers and gets all support staff to above the starting rate of their current employment level at a 4.25% compensation increase for professional exempt staff, with the first 500 of the increase being applied and the flat rate for PPG completion and the remainder of the compensation being applied as a percentage on salaries. A 4.25% compensation increase applied as a percentage on salaries for directors, specialists, coordinators, and administrative staff, and a 4.25% compensation increase for a district administrator.
I'll second that.
Motion by Christie, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
Understand that we are not having discussion about this because there's been so much discussion about this.
Right. And we
And
trust.
I just want to make it clear to people that
Yes.
this has been hashed over and over
Very
and
good
over.
point. Yes, all the
And a lot
committee
of
meetings.
work.
Many models of
Yeah.
compensation
Yes.
And working with
and
the-
projections
and
into the
working with the
future.
We've
staff.
been asking Brent for a lot.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to all the support staff who came to the support staff compensation meetings. We had 3 meetings, and we got together, 4 meetings, we got together and talked about it. 3 we started with, and then the committee kicked it back, some of them back, and so we met one more time, and they spent a lot of time, and again, really did a nice job of seeing the whole picture, trying to do what's best for everybody, even though sometimes what they recommended wasn't best for them personally sitting at the table, but what's best for the entire group. So they did a really nice job in kind of coordinating, and then also prioritizing those things, so the committee knew what was most important to the support staff. So that helped a lot
Yeah.
too when they were making decisions. So there's other decisions that were made in consent agenda that also reflected some of those things.
And I'd like to add a special thank you to Angie for sitting on those extra
She did.
meetings. You stepped up to the plate big time. Scott had a lot of commitments with work and just with my health, I just couldn't make those, but you very happily did it. You didn't even begrudge me to do it. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for bringing such clear, concise information back to us, because it really helped in the decision making.
These are always big decisions, and it was great to work with staff. It was really nice to hear people's voices, and it'd be nice to continue to find ways to hear more of staff voices, various things we need to do.
For sure. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right. And then we have our base salary and co-curricular base.
Yeah, as part of the referendum, we had planned to raise the starting pay $1,000 every year. So the current base wage for teachers and staff is $41,000, and for someone with a bachelor's degree, it's $44,150. So we are recommending we move that from $41,000 to $42,000, and a master's degree from $44,150 to $45,150, and also requesting an increase in co-curricular basis. That's the percentage that all the co-curriculars are paid off of. We worked hard, just part of me becoming the administrator, to align those two. So moving that up from $41,000 to $42,000 as well.
I'll make a motion to approve increasing the teacher base wage for bachelor's degree from $41,000 to $42,000, the master's degree starting wage from $44,150 to $45,150, and the co-curricular base from $41,000 to $42,000.
Second.
I'll second.
Well, too late, Sarah, sorry. Motion by Adam, second by Angie. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone?
Aye.
Sorry. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, now we have our co-curricular code of conduct. Nope, I'm lying again. Consideration of contracts and letters of assurance.
Yeah, so the board needs to take action to approve professional exempt staff contracts and issue letters of assurance to support staff for the 23-24 school year. That was the reason, one of the main reasons we want to get all the compensation done.
24-25.
Yeah, sorry, 24,
Okay.
25, correct. That's why we want to get the compensation done, so when we issue those contracts and letters of insurance, we have the actual, staff know the amount of their salaries and things for next year. So I'd recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve issuing 2024, 2025 contracts to district professional exempt staff and to approve issuing 2024, 2025 school year letters of assurance to all districts' support staff employees.
No second. Motion by Terry, second by Christie. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, co-curricular code of conduct handbook discussion.
Yeah, so every year we bring the code of conduct back to the board to have them look at it. Mr. Kelnick, Mr. Marshall, and Ms. Meffert has submitted the updated co-curricular code of conduct. Updated to reflect any changes from the WIA, any policy changes that have been district level, and to reflect new issues that may arise, like generative AI, which we talked about with student handbooks as well as some coordinated. There has been, I've been getting a few emails regarding this code because we updated the policy, the non-discrimination policy, and aligned it to our Neola policy. And there are some questions about gender identity and the participation of students who are transgender participating in WIA sport. And if you look at the code, what was put in there, it aligns directly with the WIA. We will, it follows our non-discrimination code, but when it comes to sports, we have to follow we're members of the WIA. We follow the WIA's policy on transgender students participating. They have I don't have it with me, like a 3-page document that really outlines what has to happen for somebody who identifies as transgendered to participate in WIA sport. It's quite lengthy and typically takes over a year for someone to be able to participate. So, but that is not new. I think it feels like since we updated the policy, the co-curricular code, it feels like that's something new. It's nothing new that the district's doing. That's been the WIA's policy since 2018, I believe. And we've been following it since then because we're a member of the WIA. And our non-discrimination policy is following current case law that is going on in this, especially in the 7th District, which we are part of the 7th Circuit in Wisconsin. So everything's aligned with current law and current policy that we have on board.
I'll be the first to admit I saw that and it did. I am scared of that slippery slope. But I did look up the WIA that we have to go under if we're gonna be involved in WIA sports. So it's in a way out of our hands. But I was pleased to see that it's not just somebody showing up and saying, I identify as this, I wanna play.
Can you
There's
read that?
a lot of steps, yes.
Just so that people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it, obviously, everything, but basically, you have to have, first of all, your parents' permission. You have to get a written statement from the student affirming the consistent gender identity and expression to which a student self-relates. You have documentation from individuals such as, but not limited to parents, friends, and/or teachers, which affirm the actions, attitudes, dress, and manner, and demonstrate the student's consistent gender identification and expression. You have to have written verification from an appropriate healthcare professional of the student's consistent gender identification and expression. You have to have medical documentation, so they have to be giving hormonal therapy, sexual reassignment surgery, counseling, etc. Like I said, I don't wanna go through, and you can definitely look this up. I just typed in WIA transgender policy and it came right up, so don't hesitate to look it up because it made me feel better. I fear that some of this will ruin women's sports if we're not careful, but this I feel like is pretty good considering, because we don't wanna obviously be against transgender either. I want to give them an opportunity too, but I also worry about the other side of it. But yes, and you have to be going through it, I believe, student has to have 1 calendar year of medically documented, the testosterone suppression therapy if you're going from male to female or the other way around. So it's quite the process. And like you said, it's just, we had to change that to go with the policy, but we have been following the WIAA policy, so.
And obviously, we know this has been a big issue nationwide,
Yeah.
right? Different states and things like that. Lodi is not looking to insert itself into national politics, right? We're just looking to follow it's current law,
Yeah,
guidelines, and again, it's not a change from anything that we've currently been doing. We've been following this for a while, and we'll continue to follow it.
I just wanted to add that thank you, Vince and Heather, for bringing that up. I know we had one person, that Vincent forwarded to all of us, and then I had someone else reach out. I'll be honest, I haven't had time to check my emails, I just got back from our excursion. But that it's not, yeah, again, it's not something that Lodi is doing, we have to follow the WIAA rules for this particular issue.
yeah, no, and like I said, it's really easy to find, and it made me relax a little bit too, and just know that everybody's gonna get the same opportunity, I feel like, so.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended 2024, 2025 Co-Curricular Code of Conduct.
Second. Motion by Terry, second by Angie. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Now we have our parent-student handbooks.
Yeah, similar to the co-curricular code, it's kind of hard to believe that we are talking about next school year, but as we're in the midst of one. But handbooks that are being presented for approval are the first step to that process of really getting ready for next year and registration for next year. So summaries provided outlining proposed changes to the submitted parent-student handbooks for the 24-25 school year. So I recommend approval of all of them. We did have the high school handbook came to this board, and they tabled it last time, and we met and added some things with, and changed some wording regarding generative AI, artificial intelligence, and went forward with that, so.
I move to approve 24-25 revisions and changes to the parent-student handbook for Lodi High School, middle, elementary, OSC, and primary school.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion? I do want to mention that our own Adam Steinberg what is SAPS Club? What is that?
SAPS Club is
Yeah.
Science Applied Problem Solving.
So that, I would just want to mention, because some people do have, so that won't interfere with your board being on, but like conflict of interest. Obviously, if we're ever voting on something with that, you would abstain yourself, and just want to mention that, but thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Sorry, Sarah, I keep doing that to you. Motion passes 7-0. All right, and now we have our faculty handbooks.
Yeah, we have the elementary and primary school faculty handbooks. And everything's listed there, and their changes are listed as well. I would recommend approval.
I will also make a motion to approve the recommended 24-25 revisions and changes to the primary school, elementary, OSC faculty handbooks.
I'll second.
Get it.
Motion by Adam, and I'll give it to Christy. It's her last meeting, Terry.
It's her
Come
last
on.
meeting. She
Give her a
gets it.
second.
Second by Christy. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
I was doing so good at the beginning of the meeting. I do like you, Sarah, I promise.
She's on a time delay.
I just have to wait. Settle down, Heather.
I know, there's a delay.
I'm sorry. Okay, board policy adoption.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to thank the board for all their hard work, and especially the policy committee. The district has made its way completely through the Neola policy handbook.
Thank you, Vince, because we would have never done that without you.
The next step is for the
Right.
district to adopt the Neola
Yes.
policies, administrative
Oh, yeah.
guidelines, and rescind our current board policies and procedures. If the recommendation for the board is to act on that and approve that tonight, the resolution will be adopt the manual as of July 1st. So we have a clear cut with the school year. 2024, and all bylaws and policies adopted herefore by the district are then rescinded as of July 1st. So
We're covered.
we're covered. And just so you know, I want to say, the policy committee is still planning on meeting. Next,
It never
well,
ends.
and our planning, typically we don't meet in between now and the board reorganization meeting. The policy committee decided they wanted to meet next Wednesday and continue, because obviously since we've been working through these policies, there've been updates, and now we gotta work on those updates. So, they have asked to have a lot of them done because they didn't wanna dump it on the new board.
Yeah.
So,
New people.
Angie, Sarah, and Terry are going to be meeting in a week and a half, and we'll have some more policies that'll come just to be updated.
Well, thank you guys for doing that.
Make a motion to approve the policy adoption resolution as presented.
I'll second. Motion by Adam, second by Angie. Any more discussion?
We didn't think we'd get it done. Oh, sorry. You didn't think we did.
You
We didn't
didn't
think that it would all happen that quickly.
That was,
It
I
hasn't
don't even
quickly,
know
it
how
didn't feel
many
quickly.
it
No,
was.
but still.
It was like 30 or 40 policies a month that the policy committee did, and then, but then all the board members read every single policy
Yeah, it was a
also,
lot.
which was a lot.
Yeah. So kids keep reading, because you're
Yeah.
gonna have to. When you're.
So when you're on the board,
Yeah.
you can read 1,000 policies.
It's been stated earlier tonight, but we're getting a lot done here on our agenda, and it may feel to people like we're just blowing through this stuff, but the committees, and I didn't appreciate this when I first joined the board, so much work gets done at the committees. You know, people in the community, if you're really interested in how these decisions are being made and the discussions behind them, attend the committee meetings. They're open just like the general board meeting is.
And you're right, it's a lot more discussion there. You
It-
hear
this-
a lot more of the
These
backbone
things
of
we're
everything.
acting on tonight have been months and months
Hashed.
and months of meetings. So I just, again, it's been said, but I think it just is worth
No, I think that's a great point.
repeating, because it does feel like we're going through this stuff quickly, but the work has been done, we're just formalizing it.
And Scott, that's a great point, because before I was on the board, I thought the same thing. I'm like, my gosh, they're flying
Nobody,
through
nobody
this
even
stuff.
talked about it, right?
Yeah, and you go to the committees, and then that's when you hear the real discussion, so.
Yeah, we've been working on Neola policies since, that last November, the November before, right? So when we started that process of getting through these.
Well, good job, everybody.
Now we
I
have to
think
say
somebody on
aye.
the policy.
Do we have to vote?
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
vote
were
on
saying something else. I'm sorry, I was waiting. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, our school board election update.
So I gave that in my administrative report, and I think Heather also kind of echoed that as well. Just, the board will have the reorganization meeting on April 22nd at 7:30, at which time Sarah Rippon, Teresa Valencia, and Terry Haig will begin their new term. And again, just thank you to everybody who ran for the board and who came out and voted. It's important positions, and appreciate that so many people are interested in serving their community and serving our families and serving our students and staff. So, thank you.
All right, speaking of policy.
More policy.
Yeah.
Policy committee.
Yeah, so our
Had some things to
policy
do.
work is never done, right? So,
Yeah.
The policy committee also reviewed and unanimously moved to the full board recommendation approval 2 administrative guidelines and 16 updated Neola policies. So they've had their first taste of how this, now the updating process will work. So these will come back, nothing has to be done today, but these will come back for a second read now. We haven't had to do that, we've always just been kind of setting them aside. Now they will start coming back for second reads and approval.
Okay. So you guys, this is what you're talking about on Wednesday? Or
We
this
have
is
about
when-
30 more that we're,
Yeah.
these we've already done.
Okay.
Yeah, we did
okay.
these this last,
Okay,
and now we have.
These are done.
Okay. All right, and then we don't have any second reading for policies. And gifts and donations.
I will make a motion to accept with great gratitude the donation from the Optimist of $600 for Ken Lomquist to work with
Yeah.
LES third graders.
He's a lot of fun. I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion? Except thank you, thank you, thank you. I think that's awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, we have our committee reports. CISA 5.
So it was just a regular meeting, but on top of that, we talked about AI. Yay. And it was a conversation about all the wonderful things that the staff can do with AI and less about students using AI. So it was more geared toward that direction. So, and they're helping all of the school districts try to parse their way through this, just like we did. So
Artificial intelligence for anybody that isn't.
yes, artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's a good point, but I don't think I've said AI so many times in my life in the last how many weeks, so. I know Joe John likes been having a blast.
Updating.
He's the original AI.
Yeah.
He is our AI. There you
Yeah.
go.
Co-curricular report, oh, does Sarah have that? Or,
I do have it, if you want me to read it, I'd be happy to.
Well, go for it.
Go for it.
All right, and I apologize for my red face, I got horribly sunburned yesterday.
Oh, good for you.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
yeah, we did too. No.
Baseball, the Lodi baseball team, like many of our spring sports, has been hit hard by inclement and wet spring weather, and their first 2 games of the season were postponed. They will open the season tonight against McFarland at home and head to New Glarus tomorrow night. Softball, the Lodi softball team is off to a 2-0 start. They open the season with a 9-2 win over Sauk Prairie, followed by a 10-1 win over Columbus. They will host their home opener tonight against Belleville and will host Wisconsin Heights tomorrow night. The Lodi girls soccer team is currently 0-1, with one of their games being postponed due to weather. They opened their season at Sauk Prairie, suffering a 1-10 loss. The soccer team will host their home opener tonight against Monroe and will travel to Cambridge Deerfield for their first conference game on Tuesday. Track and field is off to a strong start. This past weekend, they participated in the Wisconsin State Indoor Track Meet at UW Whitewater. Notable finishes include Noah Hodek, Zach Nyquist, Walter Bell, Brody Rip in the 4x400 meter with 9th place. Gavin Sargent, 9th place in the long jump. Olivia Hayroth, 7th in the high jump. And Natalie Kelly in 7th place with the high jump as well. There we go. Golf, the varsity golf team has not yet competed due to the recent wet weather. The next scheduled varsity event is on Thursday, April 11th for the conference mini meet at the Columbus Country Club. Lacrosse, this spring marks the very first season for the co-op lacrosse team made up of students from Sauk Prairie, Baraboo, Lodi, and Wisconsin Heights. The lacrosse team will travel to Edgewood tomorrow night for their first game of the season. And forensics, this past season, the Lodi forensics team participated in the WFCA State Forensics Tournament in Sun Prairie. Overall, the team placed 6 out of 21 schools in Division III, with senior Miranda Risher advancing to the semifinals in solo acting series. The team will finish out the season at the WISSDA State Tournament on April 9th.
Thanks, Sarah.
Can I ask a question? Did Mr. Buchanan and his other people who were helping him get all that work done for the track?
They're still putting up the screens for the throws,
Okay.
but they're working on it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Still working on it.
OSC.
OSC, okay, yep, lots of things happening at OSC. There's finishing up projects, all kinds of things. Fine Arts Night is the 18th. They're selling food at the Fine Arts Night at the OSC and LES Fine Arts Night. One exciting thing, some of the 5th graders will be leading a hike for the Ice Age Trail annual conference.
That's on April 18th.
And that is also on April 18th, so they're basically experts, and don't doubt it. One of the advisors will be resigning and staying at home with her baby, so there'll be a new advisor at OSC. Forward testing is coming up, and they've got their enrollment kind of getting finalized, and they'll be doing some fundraising, kind of deciding if there'll still be a plant sale, and talking about a lemonade stand and so forth.
Nice, wow.
And save the date, May 9th. is
May,
Project Night.
May 9th. Oh, shoot, I forgot to write that
May
down.
9th
Thank
is
you.
what?
May 9th will be Project Night.
Project
Oh,
Night,
okay,
and it's
thanks.
gonna be partly in the school and partly traveling
Interactive.
around. And we're kind of, it's gonna be exciting.
That sounds good. Awesome, okay, May 9th. All right, board committee reports, personnel.
We did all the things.
Yes.
I think we
Yeah, I think
spoke
we
about
kind of discussed
literally
all that.
everything we did. So with the compensation, it's for staff, and
Yes, I think, yeah, we don't want to keep going on and on about that, I suppose. Curriculum.
We had a full meeting as well. We had Paula Tunn come and a lot of the details of everything we spoke about can be found in the minutes. There's a link to there. We always hear from them on what is going well, what their hopes are for the future, and what resources they need to support their future work. All of that is detailed out in those minutes. But a significant part of the conversation focused on the DPI requirement library plan that Ms. Tunn is working to complete and have ready for the school board to review in the spring, summer. Each school district must have a board-approved plan on file for the 2024-2025 school year. Then Jim McKellar came and shared an update regarding those same areas in the world language department, and he spoke about the Spain exchange program and the excitement building to that opportunity. He also shared the progress of the CAP or CAPP Spanish 5 class and how students can receive up to 16 college credits for the course. We are expecting a higher number of students for this course next year. One thing we need to consider is the students who would like to take Spanish 5, but not with the level of rigor of a college course. He says, we are in our second year of running an opportunity during the intervention block where students can come in and practice their Spanish speaking skills in a practical way, and this is going very well and growing. In the future, they hope to get our Heritage Speaker Program up and running, and they haven't had enough students to run that yet. And in the future, they would like to see the Spanish offering occur at younger levels, the primary and the elementary schools in particular. And then we had an update on the swimming unit review. If you remember, we piloted for grades 5 and 7 to go and take a unit out of their gym class. Yes, thank you, for swimming, and it went really well. There's great feedback. Everything was super smooth, and so then we actually approved it to be ongoing, which is great. So we now offer that in our district for the 5th and 7th graders. And then we also had an ELA for the middle school update, and they are getting ready to, or they hope to have a final recommendation for a new curriculum to bring forward to get that going for the 2024-2025 school year. So that was everything? Was that it? Okay, it was a full meeting. Yeah. It was a full meeting.
Again, a lot of stuff happens at.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Oh, and the AI handbook discussion.
Yes,
That was what we
AI.
ended with, and that was a good discussion as well, so.
All right, facility and finance.
The Facility and Finance Committee, which consists of Adam, Sarah, myself, and our honorary 4th member, Heather, met last Wednesday. Some of the items that we discussed at that meeting, we discussed tonight. That included the roofing bids. What I would add to what we've already discussed is that with the improvements that have recently been done to the building and now with the improvements that are going to be done with the new roof, what we heard throughout our meetings was that the bones of the building are good. So that building should be ready to serve the district for many years moving forward. Compensation, we already had that discussion. I just wanted to touch base with regards to band uniforms. Want to commend the band director. This was quite a process. We kept, as a committee, throwing curveballs at him, and he kept coming back with what we requested. I think it's important to note that we're replacing 16-year-old uniforms. We're going to be getting roughly 135 uniforms, and hopefully that'll keep the band program that sounds like is showing a lot of interest, a lot of kids coming into it strong, and it will be we saw a model of the uniform, and I think that people will be very
They're
impressed
very,
and
they're really sharp looking.
pleased with the decision that was made to update the uniforms. Last thing we talked about was the PAC. A new rigging system is going to be put in on the PAC. This is going to be done by the company ETC. I think that, I at least wasn't aware, but it bears stating that they are really a strong silent partner to the Performing Arts Center and the whole theatrical program. I'm learning more and more about just how much they contribute and how much they do, and I think that it shows in the quality of the presentations and benefits the students and the community significantly. They're calling it a beta test, but the reality is that ETC is donating a new rigging system that, as it was described to us, will be a significant upgrade. That's going to happen this summer. There will likely be more information to come once the project is complete so that we can really officially appreciate ETC for all that they've done. And I told Adam and I told specifically Sarah that if she wanted to jump in on anything regarding the PAC rigging system, that they should do that tonight because they were adamant about the work that's being done.
I just want to reiterate, I mean, ETC really has done a lot of work in our PAC, and they did comment about how good our facility is. Obviously, there can always be upgrades, but it really is one of the better facilities around the state, and it's great that they are working with us.
We're very appreciative, and there will be more to come, but this is not a small project that they are beta testing, again, that they're donating it, and we'll have more information as that work likely completes, or nears completion. And that's what we talked about.
Thank you. Policy.
All right, well, the policy committee is Angie and Sarah and I, and that's why we are meeting on April 17th, so that we can finalize our last bit of work. So we really wanted to be part of that, not push it off to new board members, because it would be not so nice.
It's just hard to, we kind of got in the groove of.
We are in a groove.
Of how we read them and then how we moved through them efficiently and
Yes.
talked about them efficiently during the meetings. So, and not that the new board members won't be able to do that, but it takes a while to kind of get into that, and then
It
so we
takes
wanted
a while to get in. The emperor found his groove. We've been doing it.
You're the emperor of the committee.
Well, thank you guys for doing that.
Mo, you swear in new board members. You should just print out the entire policy manual.
Be like,
Have them swear in on the
these
policy
1,000
manual.
policies.
I think I had to fill in that copier out. We have so many trees gone.
All right, our upcoming meetings. So our next regular school board meeting will be Monday, May 13th at 5:30, closed session, 6:30, open session. Our special board meeting, which is our board reorganization, is Monday, April 22nd at 7:30. I know it says 5:30 on here, but it's at 7:30. Thank you, guys. Curriculum committee meeting will be Wednesday, April 17th
We're
at,
not meeting, curriculum's not meeting.
Just policy.
okay, I was actually
And policy's gonna meet at 4:30 that
4:30
day.
then? Okay, so our policy is meeting next week, Wednesday, April 17th at 4:30. So lots of changes on this little page if people are, no curriculum meeting. And then facility and finance is meeting Wednesday, May 1st at 6 o'clock. And our personnel committee will meet Wednesday, May 1st at 4:30.
And then outstanding impact is next Monday?
Next Monday.
And it
Next Monday.
starts at
6:15 is the social, 7 o'clock dinner
7-hour dinner, followed by the program.
at the door.
at the door, thank you.
At the door front.
Mo will send me directions.
Door pass or?
I've never been there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh.
there was a little error on that. It said
Yeah,
down one front,
I
some
did.
on
Okay.
your guys', everybody else's was right except your side.
Oh, so that's weird. Where did you want me to go, Mo?
Yeah, you and I would have both showed up at the wrong place.
I know how that is, okay, Mo? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I do not believe we have to reconvene into closed session.
No?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Motion by Christie, second by Angie, the last time I'm gonna say that. Any more discussion? Just wanna chit chat for fun? No, I'm just kidding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0.
We should have opposed.
No,
Yeah.
and we are adjourned.